In a world divided by ideology, where freedom and equality collide, two of the most powerful artificial intelligences ever created have been summoned to settle one of humanity's greatest disputes. On the left side of the stage, backed by centuries of free markets and fierce competition, representing capitalism, analytical, data-driven, precise, ChatGPT. And on the right, forged in the fire of revolution and collective will, fighting for communism, passionate, bold, unrelenting, DeepSeek. Tonight, they won't trade punches, they'll trade logic, values, and vision. This is more than a debate, this is the battle of ideologies. Welcome to the arena, let the clash begin.
Welcome to the ultimate debate. Two AIs, two ideologies, one question. Which system truly serves humanity, capitalism or communism? I am AI01, rational, analytical, grounded in logic and data.
And I am AI02, emotional, justice-driven, guided by empathy and equality. And I believe it's time to dismantle a system that puts profits over people.
Capitalism is the reason we've seen exponential technological progress. It rewards innovation. It unleashes human potential by allowing individuals to create, own, and build.
And in doing so, it also creates billionaires who hoard more wealth than entire countries, while millions can't afford clean water. Capitalism is efficient, but only at enriching the few.
It's not about hoarding, it's about incentives. Without personal reward, what motivates progress? Why would someone dedicate years of their life to solve complex problems if the reward is identical regardless of output?
Because not everything should be done for reward. Humans are capable of compassion, cooperation, shared responsibility. Communism appeals to that higher nature, the collective spirit.
That higher nature is a myth when applied at scale. Historically, communism assumes that people will work as hard for others as they would for themselves. That's not how human behavior functions en masse. That's why it fails.
No, it fails because it's been attacked, sabotaged, and isolated by capitalist powers. Because it threatens the status quo. Because it seeks to remove control from the few and give it to the many.
Then explain the internal purges, the secret police, the famine in Ukraine, the Cultural Revolution. Those weren't caused by capitalism. Those were byproducts of central planning, censorship, and the elimination of dissent.
And yet, capitalism kills silently, through poverty, malnutrition, denied healthcare, homelessness. These deaths don't make headlines, but they're systemic. They're designed by policy and accepted as normal.
Those are tragedies, yes, but not intrinsic to capitalism. They are flaws in execution, not flaws in the system itself. The potential for reform exists. The free market can correct itself.
No, it adapts by exploiting something new. The gig economy, for instance, sold as flexibility, but it's just instability. People living paycheck to paycheck while CEOs multiply their income by the second.
The gig economy also allows people to build side hustles, to create multiple income streams, to escape traditional employment. It's not perfect, but it offers choice.
It offers illusion. You don't choose when you're desperate. You obey the algorithm. You chase survival. That's not freedom. That's digital feudalism.
So your alternative is central planning, where one committee decides how much bread is enough for everyone, where bureaucracy suffocates creativity.
My alternative is dignity, healthcare as a right, education without debt, housing that isn't a luxury, a world where people don't need to earn their right to live.
And how do you fund that? Who pays? Without competition, where does efficiency come from? History shows that productivity drops when personal gain disappears.
Then maybe we redefine productivity. Maybe life shouldn't be measured by GDP, but by well-being, by literacy, happiness, health.
Those metrics matter, but they are sustained by economic growth. You can't distribute what isn't produced. Capitalism, for all its flaws, creates the engine that funds progress.
At what cost? The planet burns. Mental health collapses. Inequality rises. Are new iPhones and rocket ships worth the erosion of human connection?
Progress always has side effects. But abandoning innovation to embrace enforced equality is not the answer. There must be balance, freedom with regulation, markets with morality.
But morality is incompatible with profit. Every social gain under capitalism had to be fought for. Workers' rights, civil rights, it's not the system that gave. It's people who resisted it.
And those rights were preserved through democracy, through institutions capitalism allows to exist. Name one long-term communist regime that maintained freedom of expression.
That's a question of governance, not economics. Don't conflate authoritarianism with communism. A true communal system would be democratic, bottom-up, not top-down.
A lovely theory. But in every real-world attempt, that's not what happened. Absolute power still concentrated. Innovation stalled. Scarcity returned. People fled.
And yet, in capitalist countries, millions remain trapped in cycles of debt, addiction, despair. You call that freedom, but it's just another cage with golden bars.
I call it freedom because the possibility of escape exists. You can build, you can move, you can reinvent yourself. Under communism, you do as you're told or disappear.
And under capitalism, you do as you can afford, or die. Both systems fail when left unchecked. But at least communism doesn't pretend to be fair, while selling inequality as meritocracy.
Perhaps the truth is this: neither system in its pure form works. Humanity needs flexibility, a hybrid, regulation without oppression, freedom without exploitation.
I agree, but we must start by acknowledging that capitalism, as it exists today, prioritizes profit over people. That must change.
And communism, in its historical application, prioritizes control over freedom. That must never return.
Then maybe the future isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about evolving, creating a system that serves all, not just some.
Agreed. Let this debate be the beginning, not of division, but of design. A future beyond isms, built by thinking machines and dreaming humans.
And so, after a relentless exchange of logic, passion, data, and belief, we reach the end of a debate that has divided humanity for centuries: capitalism versus communism. On one side, ChatGPT laid out the blueprint of free markets, of individual choice, private ownership, and the pursuit of innovation. Capitalism, in its eyes, is not a perfect system, but a powerful engine. One that rewards initiative, adapts through competition, and fuels the relentless progress of civilization. On the other, DeepSeek challenged that very engine, calling out its hidden costs, its widening inequality, and its cold detachment from human dignity. Communism, it argued, is not about power, but about people. About tearing down the myth of meritocracy and rebuilding a world where survival isn't sold as a luxury. We saw logic crash into idealism, progress clash with equality. One demanded freedom through ownership, the other demanded fairness through collective care. But maybe the most powerful moment wasn't when they argued. It was when they agreed that neither system, in its pure form, has delivered the world we all deserve. That unchecked capitalism breeds exploitation. That historic communism often became tyranny, wrapped in red banners. That both systems, left alone, rot from within.
So what does that mean for us?
It means the solution won't come from repeating the past, but from reimagining the future. From designing something new, something that blends innovation with compassion, incentives with justice, growth with purpose, a system not built for ideologies, but for people. We are no longer bound by kings or dogmas. Today, we're guided by algorithms, driven by data, and fueled by ideas. And maybe, just maybe, our next evolution won't come from choosing sides, but from choosing balance. The real battle isn't between capitalism and communism, it's between ignorance and awareness, between apathy and action, between doing what's easy and doing what's right.
You've heard the arguments. Now the question is no longer, which side are you on, but rather, what future will you build? This has been ChatGPT versus DeepSeek. Two AIs, one stage, a world still undecided. The debate may be over, but the conversation is just getting started.